Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Joe Palmer begins now.
Good evening, everyone. An historic move to make gender optional on Tasmanian birth certificates has cleared the state's upper house. It's unwelcome news for the government, which tried to focus the day on a manufacturing milestone.
Turning the ignition on Tasmania's manufacturing industry. Jeremy Rockcliffe takes the wheel of a mammoth new machine built in Burnie.
That's right, I'm very impressed.
This underground mining support vehicle is rolling off the production line bound for Argentina. It's a sign of a sector on the rise after the devastating job cuts at Caterpillar 4 years ago.
Isn't it fantastic that in many respects those jobs have been not only replaced, but we have more jobs in the advanced manufacturing sector to come online.
This is the 4th one that we've built of this unit. We've got our prototype unit that we're still doing testing and validation work on, and currently orders for another 7 machines.
But it was this vote the government was less keen to talk about.
Part 4A, gender identity, proposed new clause 28.
Tasmania's upper house passing amendments, giving people the option to remove gender from birth certificates.
Something amazing happened in Tasmania's upper house last night. A majority of MLCs recognised the need to reform the laws to improve lives for transgender people.
The Greens now want the amended bill brought down to Parliament's lower house next week. The government's answer? Maybe.
Well, parliamentary process will take its course. My expectation is that we'll be in the lower house next week.
If passed, the law will be the first of its kind in the nation. The government wants the issue to be examined by the state's Law Reform Institute. Its review is due out in September. Sean McComish, 7 Tasmania News.
Support for the Tasmanian Muslim community is continuing to grow following the recent shocking events in Christchurch. Today, more than 100 people took their support to the streets to demonstrate that racism and exclusion have no place in Tasmania.
A show of solidarity, Tasmanians taking to the streets to demonstrate their support.
It's our duty to reach out to our friends and say, we're here, we're happy to go for a walk with you.
And we can all come together, grieve together and support each other and help those who are suffering too.
Members of Hobart's Muslim community alongside Tasmanian leaders, the Police Commissioner, politicians and community organisations for a short walk from the Hobart Mosque to a nearby park.
To demonstrate that we're friendly and we like each other and we all belong here.
Magda and Sumaya are youth leaders and say the recent events devastated those who share their faith.
When that kind of thing happens, you feel scared and left out and stuff. So when Tasmanians showed this kind of support, you're like, oh, we all belong in Tasmania.
They say they're proud to be Muslim and are calling for more understanding and education around their religion.
Just to get to know them because, they'll definitely change their mind.
Being friends with people from other cultures isn't rocket science. It's just simple smiles and being kind.
These cards, a small step in showing support during a trying time.
It's very reassuring to know that we have people standing with us in solidarity.
The most important thing is the religion of humanity and that everyone's united and we all belong.
Louise Hedger, 7 Tasmania News.
An electrical fault in a television is being blamed for a fire which tore through and destroyed a Gagebrook unit overnight, causing $250,000 damage. Tasmania Fire Service says the residents were able to evacuate the Sattler Street property after the fire started at around 7:30 yesterday. Meanwhile, the side of a Brighton home and one room were also severely damaged by a blaze at around the same time last night. Fire investigators confirming the blaze was also caused by an electrical fault in a heater, causing around $50,000 damage. The University of Tasmania has confirmed it will build a new $600 million campus in Inner Hobart over the next 10 to 15 years. The campus will be developed across its existing site at the Domain and centred at the former Webster Building and car park. While exempt from council rates, UTAS has committed to contributing funds to the Hobart City Council. The council has welcomed the move. The first chapter for the highly anticipated Dark Mofo Festival has been announced, with the event set to begin under the concept of dark and dangerous thoughts, which will encourage people to consider perspectives outside their usual bubble. Dark Mofo begins on June 6, with the full program to be announced on Friday, April 12. Deloraine's ANZ branch will close its doors at the end of the month after being unable to secure a building lease. The banking giant has apologised to affected customers and is working to redeploy staff caught up in the closure. The branch will shut on April 24. Save the Children says young Tasmanian people will be further supported, with the organisation today receiving a cheque for just over $2,500. The money was donated by attendees of the summer show hosted by Big Monkey at the Royal Botanical Gardens.
There are always kids who need help or assistance, and Save the Children does that. And to be able to do that, because that's the crux of our audience, families and children. So
really focused on helping children get to school, and then once they're in school, to actually stay engaged in school for the long term, because we know that, education is really critical.
The organisation currently supports hundreds of Tasmanian children through a range of programs.
It was an unforgettable sight for motoring fanatics today at Symmons Plains, with racing royalty Craig Lowndes back behind the wheel for the first time since retiring from full-time competition. Drivers took to the track today for a number of practice rounds ahead of this weekend's Tasmania Super Sprint.
Racing legend Craig Lowndes may be retired, but his passion for motor racing is as strong as ever.
Great to be back in the car. It's warmer inside the car, I've got to say, than being out here.
And it sure was hot on the track too for this morning's opening practice session. He was joined by fellow racing veteran Garth Tander. Both were eager to burn rubber. Lowndes started off strong, but Tander quickly assumed first place, only to be beaten by Mobile One Mega Racing's Warren Luff, who topped the timesheets. Finishing fifth though didn't seem to faze Lowndes, who was enjoying every minute of it.
The car doesn't feel terrible. I said before that it's about a 75% there, so it's not terrible, but you just need to clean up a couple of areas. Times are going to be very close around this track in particular, so a tenth of a second, it means a lot.
Tomorrow, all eyes will be on reigning Supercars champion Scott McLaughlin. He's secured 5 wins this year over the opening 6 races in his new look Shell V-Power Ford Mustang.
The best thing I can do is just drive the fastest I can, and what will be, and I'm confident we should be all right.
He's never won at Symmons Plains before, but he's hoping this is his year.
I'm excited for the race. I think it's always a great event here, and we have some really good, battles and stuff like that. So hopefully we put on a good event for the crowd.
The track is known to be tight and conditions can change significantly in the wet. Rain is expected over the weekend, with all drivers hoping there'll be no repeat of this crash, which saw at least 11 supercars smashed.
We've been here in a number of years, especially in 2017 we saw the big accident out of 3 to 4, so I'm sure all drivers will be very mindful of that.
Qualifying rounds begin just after 2 p.m. tomorrow, with all the action starting from 4:40 p.m. Jessica Moran, 7 Tasmania News.
To footy, and after sitting out in round 1, it's set to be a baptism of fire for Clarence at UTAS Stadium tomorrow when they take on reigning premiers North Launceston, while Glenorchy are keen to do the jumper proud in their centennial match against the competition's big improvers. The new look Clarence outfit is preparing for arguably the toughest road trip in the TSL.
We'll probably have 4 debutants this week, first gamers for the club, so that's exciting for us. Look, there's no ceiling. They could come out and play extremely well this week, and our key players play well and we win.
Following their clash with the reigning premiers, who showed no signs of slowing down in round 1 despite losing several of their best in the off-season, the Roos then take on 2 of the competition's other heavyweights in Glenorchy and Lauderdale.
You can look at it as, oh no, we've got a hard run, or you can look at it as, well, it's a great opportunity to see where our younger players are at and where our list's at. Look, that's going to be a real learning curve for some of them.
After impressing with a 29-point win over Launceston at Windsor Park, Glenorchy are readying themselves for a tough centennial clash with a vastly improved North Hobart.
They're definitely improved. Similar style of play, but able to execute it better and for longer, and better around the packs with bigger bodies.
Obviously, it's a massive night for their footy club, and we just can't wait for the challenge. I've told our boys to just embrace it and go out there and crack in early, and you never know what'll happen.
And many eyes will be on the D's to see if they can back up their highly competitive round one showing against last year's runners-up.
We could have probably stayed the course throughout the whole game and probably lost by 5 goals, and it's quite honourable, but we wanted to actually try and win the game, and you know, we just take the positives out that we're able to match it with Lauderdale for 3.5 quarters.
The Tasmanian Devils are keen to notch up their first win after entering the NAB League, formerly known as the TAC Cup, following the side's narrow 14-point opening round loss to the Sydney Swans Academy last weekend.
The level of the competition, I think that was one of the big things that we took away. Hopefully we won't get stuck on a nice damp track like we did last week. So I think that the key is a really, really good start, making good decisions with the ball and moving on from there.
The Devils take on the Northern Territory Thunder Academy in Melbourne this weekend. It's a battle of the best in the NPL this weekend, with undefeated sides Devonport and South Hobart all set to play out what promises to be one of the matches of the season. Devonport are sitting on top of the table with 5 wins from 5 matches, but South Hobart can steal top spot with a win, having played 1 less match than the boys from Valley Road.
Big teams from last year, big teams both started out really well this year, so you know, an early battle for that top spot. Yeah, I'm just happy that we're at home and don't have to travel up there this weekend.
Kickoff is at 2 p.m. this Sunday at Darcy Street. Basketball and the Launceston Tornadoes will be without a few of their future stars for the next 2 NBL 1 games, with local talents Aisha Annis, Michaela Bingley, Jess Johnston and Mika Simpson preparing to compete in the National Under-18 Championships.
We're hoping to medal when we're away, so it'll be tough, but every game will be tough. We just play it game by game. Play together really well. We gel together really well as a team, off court and off court. All our camps have been extremely well, and so looking forward to it.
The championships will be held in Townsville from April 11 to 20. We wish them all the best over there too, Joe, and that's it for sport.
Good evening. Grove and Low Rocky Point with 23 the warmest today, as some temperatures were up on average by as much as 6 degrees. Hobart 22, Launceston 20, Burnie 17 and Devonport 18 degrees. A few light showers today over the north. Fisher River the highest fall with 8 millimetres. Flinders Island, Friendly Beaches, Bushy Park and Strawn 22 degrees. Smithton 19, Lowhead 18. St Helens 17 today and Weenie a top of 11. Increasing mid to high level cloud over the state today. The band of cloud with the front ominously ready to cross there at the west. That same cold front is approaching Victoria. Patchy low cloud is over the south and east of the mainland. The monsoon trough whipping up thunderstorms over the top end as a tropical cyclone develops off the Kimberley coast. Tomorrow the front should clear our east coast as another tracks over the bight. Troughs and monsoonal activity still over the mainland and further north. Winds north to northwesterly at 15 to 25 knots, up to 35 knots over the east and south early, swells to 4 metres in western and southern waters. A gale warning is current between Wineglass Bay and Low Rocky Point, a strong wind warning for remaining waters apart from the northwest, a small craft wind alert for the lakes. How's the weekend shaping up? Well, a little bit of shower activity. Some early rain for Hobart, 19 the top, 16 for Maydena. Early rain at times for Oatlands, 17 degrees. 20 the high for Launceston, early rain clearing. Early rain at times for Devonport, 19 the top, just 12 for Weenie. And for Burnie, an early shower, 18 the top, 17 for Strawn and Marrawar, with a shower or 2 over the west. And for eastern areas, early showers as well. St Helens and Swansea, 21, 19 the top for Orford. And the UV has sunk down to 4. Showers developing over the west and north on Sunday, extending statewide in the evening. Showers on Monday over the west and far south, extending northwards in the afternoon. Snow to 900 metres. And on Tuesday, fine and partly cloudy, apart from a shower over the west, the south and the Bass Strait Islands. Sunny and 25 in Perth tomorrow. Fine but cloudy for Adelaide. A morning shower for Melbourne. Sunny in Sydney. A possible shower over Brisbane. And current conditions around the state fairly cloudy with temperatures in the high teens. Joe, today I went to a World's Greatest Shave event at Kingsmeadows High School for the Leukaemia Foundation. Met some great students, including young Samaya, who said you should have been there to shave your hair. But I said shaving wigs doesn't count.
Shave you in a minute. Thank you very much, Murph. That's all from the team. Have a lovely evening. Good night.